What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Man, it's raining like crazy outside. Uh, I haven't really talked much about politics, and don't worry, I do see the things that are going on right now when it comes to the Trump administration. I will talk about these things on my Patreon. I'm going to try to do some more Patreons tomorrow, and I'm going to upload a LeBron Patreon video tomorrow, too. So I'm going to upload probably like 2 to 3 videos tomorrow on the Patreon. So salute to you guys who support me over there. I do want to talk about this. So Steve Bannon, former White House strategist during Trump's first term, said recently on News Nation that he and others are working on ways for Trump to get around the 22nd Amendment. And he says that Trump will run again and will win in 2028. Mind you, Donald Trump would be 82 years old in 2028. Just want to put that out there. These are some of the same people who were questioning the fitness of Joe Biden running for re-election this past year before he dropped out when he was, 81? So just want to put that out there. Getting beside all of the issues with age, it's not going to happen. Okay? It's not. I don't care about anybody saying, man, they're going to. No, it's not going to happen. Okay? The 22nd Amendment clearly prohibits any person from being elected president more than twice. Trump has been elected president twice. Okay, so the only thing that could possibly happen that I can think of is if somehow, and I'm trying to think about like technicalities here. If somehow Trump resigns from the presidency, right? Give me 1 second. If somehow Trump resigns from the presidency, allowing J.D. Vance to be president, and then maybe if J.D. runs in 2028, Trump runs as his VP, and in the event that J.D. Vance wins, then maybe J.D. Vance resigns and Trump becomes president that way. I mean, that's one technicality, but it's so unlikely, and it doesn't really make any sense. At this point, the fact that they're trying to come up with ways of circumventing the 22nd Amendment is cultish. I'm sorry. People always talk about, Trump derangement syndrome. No, you guys are a cult at this point. And honestly, it is strikingly similar to what we saw in Germany, where ultimately, who, Schicklgruber, became the embodiment of that movement. He became the party. Whereas with Lenin and Stalin and Khrushchev and Brezhnev, Andropov, Chernenko, Gorbachev, they never became the embodiment of the party. The Communist Party was always bigger than them. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm sorry, they're all parallels. These people have made Trump the embodiment of a movement. It's not even Republican Party anymore. It's W nationalism. That's exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? And it's not going to happen. In order to get rid of the 22nd Amendment, necessitates the passage of an amendment to repeal the 22nd Amendment. And that would take, if I remember correctly, a 2/3 vote in the House and Senate. The Republicans don't have that type of pull in the House or Senate. Then it takes, I believe, a 3/4 vote as far as the United States, which means that 38 states will have to ratify that amendment for it to become official. That's not going to happen. I don't think an amendment has been ratified since the early 90s. So look, they don't have the numbers for that. So I'm sorry. Trump is not going to serve a third term. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? This is the problem that a lot of people have. And this is the problem why people said that these supporters, they are indeed a cult. This fixation that they have with this guy is ridiculous. But you know what? Having said all of that, I don't feel any empathy for the Republican Party because they allowed this. They allowed their party over the past, I say, 55 to 60 years to be slowly infiltrated, dominated, and then completely hijacked by this particular movement. These people who have infiltrated the Republican Party were the same people who broke away from the Democratic Party because of the earlier civil rights movement, for the most part. I mean, that's simplifying things a little bit, but that's pretty much what happened. The old Dixiecrats, for the most part, broke away from the Democratic Party, including Ronald Reagan, a former liberal, a former California liberal, broke away when he saw the Democratic Party become more and more dominated by the likes of, Hubert Humphrey, and ultimately liberals like Robert Kennedy and George McGovern. When the party became more focused at that time on ensuring equality and federal mandated protection of minorities, those who now embody MAGA, their ancestors broke from the Democrats and went to the Republican Party for the most part. At least the ones that were more fervently against all those things. So it always irritates me when I see Republicans say, "Oh, we're the party of Lincoln." No, you're not. Not anymore. You guys haven't been the party of Lincoln for, honestly, they started breaking away. What the hell you think the Compromise of 1877 was? You started breaking away from that then. The Compromise of 1877, which basically gave the Republicans the White House, which was Rutherford B. Hayes over Samuel J. Tilden. The Republicans won the White House in exchange for taking federal troops out of the South and essentially giving white Southerners back control of state and local state houses and taking back power. And then that's how we ultimately, people like myself, were subjected to 100 years of crippling Jim Crow, the so-called Party of Lincoln, giving up on us even back then. And then you had people who were Southern sympathizers during Reconstruction, screwing black farmers and black landowners out there. It's just a whole bunch of stuff, man. If you do your research, man, it's all bullshit. Now, having said all of that, the Democratic Party of today bears no resemblance to the Democratic Party of the 60s and early 70s. I would say starting in the 80s, but most definitely starting steamrolling with the Clinton years, that party ceased to exist. And, it is what it is. But yeah, getting back to my original point, man, Donald Trump, this is his last term, okay? People need to let that shit go. Okay, it just looks ridiculous. We're looking for a way for him to get us a third term. Don't you got JD Vance right there? Don't you got other members of the Republican Party that are eligible candidates? Good God, man. It's sad. It's sad. These are the same people, by the way. These MAGA nuts. These are the same people that were scaremongering about how Obama was going to, remember this? Obama was going to stop uh, elections in 2016 and force a third term, an emergent. Remember, he was going to all this bullshit. All they were really doing was just projecting what they wanted to do. Man, that's all I got to say about it. And if you don't like it, I don't give a shit.